In today's episode, we are going to be going over 5 actionable tips you guys can use to master the cloth modifier and cloth in general in Blender itself. So it's actually not too terribly difficult, but these are the 5 main things that most 3D artists are going to be using in all of their animations for loose pieces of cloth, flags, towels, paper. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it. So this is a fresh scene in Blender version 4.1. First thing I'm going to do is, of course, delete the default cube. I'm going to Shift A, Mesh, and add in a plane. So tip number 1 is just making the cloth mesh itself. So go ahead and zoom in on this plane, tab into edit mode. And of course, I will have the screencast keys on the bottom right hand corner here enabled so you guys can see exactly what I'm hitting when I hit it. Go ahead and right click with your plane selected in edit mode and subdivide this thing. We're going to need a good amount of subdivisions for the cloth modifier to work properly. So I'm going to increase this subdivide count to 10, and then I'm going to subdivide it once more. That should be a good amount of subdivisions. Again, the more subdivisions you have, the more detailed your cloth will look, but the more of an impact it will have on your computer. So I think that looks pretty good. Second thing I'm going to do is right click on it in object mode and shade it smooth. All right, so now the cloth has been created. To go ahead and test this out, you can move this sucker up, add in some sort of object, go down to your physics tab here with your plane selected and hit cloth. If I now hit play, you'll see it go straight through that ball. So now that your cloth has been created, tip number 2 is collisions with the cloth. So if we go ahead and go to this ball, it's pretty simple. Just enable collision. And now it is collidable. Maybe you're thinking, well, what if I want the ball to collide with cloth instead? Well, that is possible. If we make this ball a lot smaller, Control A, and apply the scale to this ball, I'm going to leave collision ticked. I'm going to go down to rigid body and enable rigid body. And then we have to keep this cloth in place. If we tap into edit mode on this cloth, we can go down to this data tab with the little green 3 triangle dots. Go to the vertex group area here under the data tab and hit the plus button. You can name this pen. Let's just name it that. Then on your cloth, you're going to go ahead and select which verts you want to pen. Imagine these vertex dots as being, let's say, thumbtacks. So I'm going to go ahead and hold Shift and click on all 4 corners, so I have all 4 corners thumbtacked in place, and hit assign. So now they have been assigned to this pen group. If I deselect everything, and you're wondering, oh no, which ones do I have penned? Well, you can hit select, and it will reselect the ones you have pinned in that group. For instance, if I just grab random ones here, assign them, and then you're doing something else, making a model, whatever, come back here and go, oh, well, which ones are penned? I have no idea. Well, you can just hit select, and it will show you. But what I am going to do is I'm going to go ahead and unselect these 4 corners because I still want them penned. So I'm just leaving these random ones and hit remove. Now, if you hit select, you can see it's just these 4 corners again. I removed those other ones from my pen group. Now the rest of the magic is done in the physics tab here under cloth. So if we scroll down, we're going to scroll all the way down to shape. Under shape, it'll ask for a pen group, and we can just select that group we called pen. Now if we hit play, the cloth will stay in place pinned by those 4 corners. You're thinking, well, the ball didn't really interact with it, and you would be correct. All you have to do for this ball is go over to the physics tab, enable rigid body. If you scroll down to the rigid body tab here where it says shape for the collisions convex hull, go ahead and change that to sphere or whatever shape that you put in. Square, sphere, whatever it may be for a marble or whatever you guys want. If you turn the tension up, it should sag a little less, and it does. All right, a couple more tips here. For these tips, I'm going to go down to the green data tab, and under the pen group, I'm going to hit tab. So I'm in edit mode for this. I'm going to deselect everything on it and hit select, remember, so it shows me which ones I have selected. I'm going to go ahead and hit C and deselect those two corners. And then I'm going to remove these from the pen groups. So now if I hit select, it's only these two over here that are selected. What that'll do is if I go back in object mode and I play, now it's only swinging, or it's only hung from those 2 points there. What I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to take this piece of cloth and I'm going to go ahead and rotate it like so, 90 degrees on the y-axis, just so we don't have to wait for it to fall every single time. So I'm going to go ahead and Shift A. And the fourth tip here is you can affect cloth with almost any of the force field options here. So let's add in a wind force field. Why not? Rotate it y -90 and grab that and pull it back on the x-axis. We'll go to the physics tab with your force field selected and increase that strength. Let's turn that up to say 1,500. Hit play and see what happens. You can see it is affecting your cloth here. It is pushing it to the side now. If we continue to increase this, you can see it affect the cloth real time. Right? So you can see that that is affecting the cloth. You can increase or decrease the flow of it, which basically makes it react quicker or slower. If I go ahead and delete that wind force field, and I Shift A, force field, and let's say I add in a force field, this will kind of have the same effect as wind. But it won't really be blowing it, it'll just be constantly pushing it away, as you can see. And of course you can use this for other things too. You could push the cloth back up, for instance, like that. Kind of an interesting effect. I mean, if you were trying to do like a Superman model or animation or something, and you want him to fly, roll in a marble into a cloth. Pretty interesting looking little animation, I think. The fifth tip here is actually something I cannot do with the plane, so let's go ahead and get rid of that. Shift A, and we're going to add in a cube this time. Essentially, now we're going to be creating pillows and mattresses and things along those lines. So what you can do is squish this guy down, tab into edit mode, add a few loop cuts around the edge like so. Grab one of the loop cuts using Alt and left click it. S, Shift Z, bring it out a little bit. And now we can add as many loop cuts as you think necessary. And I'm going to subdivide it once. Now, if you add a cloth modifier onto this guy and scroll down until you see pressure, enable that. I'm going to go ahead and Shift A, mesh, grab, move that down, rigid body passive. So now the pillow will hit it and inflate real slowly. So let's make that a little faster. Put that up to like 10. There we go. Now we have a pillow. Right click, shade smooth. If you wanted the pillow to look a little different, you could make it slightly bigger. Tab in edit mode. Grab a vertex in the center-ish. And remember our whole vertex groups. Pin P, why not? And we'll go ahead and assign it. And we'll go ahead and go down to the physics again. Scroll down until you see pin group, pin P. Hit play. And now it's a little bit more pillow looking. Now you can go ahead and Shift A, mesh, cylinder, shrink that sucker down. Feel free to make the button look like whatever you want. This is literally just a demonstration. So there you go, speed pillow, no problem. All right, so those are the 5 actionable tips for today that you guys can use to master the cloth modifier here. Those were some pretty quick, speedy tips. Play around with them, mess around with all the settings of everything I've shown you, and you will quickly learn the ins and outs of mastering the cloth modifier. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, consider liking and subscribing to my channel. It would go a long way to me making future content for future Blender artists. Thank you so much again. Have a great day.